to talk with you about is from the first day to the 9th day.
Okay. Well, could you maybe tell me what the day of the landing was like, for example?
Well, the weather was decent. I remember I was in the second landing at 8:15. Of course, the landing craft were running around the big boats like crazy, and we came down the rope ladders and into the landing craft, ran around, and then when our time came at 8:15, we headed to shore, and there was intermittent shelling going on at that time. We came in directly at the hotel.
Okay.
Remember, there was a railroad track, kind of a stony beach that we landed. We ran across a railroad track, and we headed up a rather steep hill adjacent to the hotel. We went up. We went to the top, and over the top of the hill. The idea was keep going, stay off the beach. I can remember we went down, started down the other side, and there was intermittent shelling going on. The big American planes went overhead. We thought that was very comforting. When we started down the other side, well, this is a little hazy to me. I remember we kept moving forward, and L Company eventually came to a stopping point.
Okay.
And the little group I was with, we got a little ahead of the company, but everything stopped, and we realized that there was too much resistance to go on the way we were just crashing ahead. So I vividly remember having someone yell, "Stop and get back here," and 3 or 4 of us who were out there turned around and raced back to line up with the body of the L Company group. And it gets kind of vague after that. We sort of secured ourselves, and as I remember now, whether we just dug in there for the night, I'm not quite certain, but I think we must have done that, because the next thing that I remember is when we're on the road that goes to Cannes, which was off to the east of us. We apparently had been told that our unit was going to go eastward, and that was rather not too much was going on there. We could hear gunfire and things like that, but we were marching down the road to a point. So this was the next day, the next morning, where we turned and started inland again. I don't remember the name of the village, if there was a village, but we started up a road that was leading, eventually, I didn't know it at the time, but leading to Crest, C-R-E-S-T, which was quite a ways up, obviously. But I remember it was, we were then heading, northwest, I guess. We had a couple of confrontations where the little German spotter planes flew over our heads, and we all knew enough to run and dig in, because 10 minutes later the artillery fire started coming in, those kind of situations. We moved along, went through a town or a city, which they said was the rose capital of France. I can't remember the name of that town.
Oh, that's probably Grasse, I suspect. Or the Grasse is not the rose capital, but the perfume capital.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was, something like that anyway. But because there was some high stone cliffs along the roadway, I'm not particularly. Well, it's kind of cloudy. It was a lot of movement and a lot of digging in and waiting for gunfire to stop and move on. I think, obviously, then the next vivid thing that comes to mind, we had a battle somewhere in that territory, and we captured. It must have been a double squad or maybe 30 German soldiers.
Okay.
As I remember it, I was after we captured these German soldiers. We lined them up. Someone tried to ask them some questions that none of us were talking German, so we didn't get very far. But they were put in a line and forced to march back towards the coastline. And one of the most vivid things I remember about it, and I've got a cigarette case that the German prisoner gave me. I'm at the back of the line marching these guys back south. And I was amazed at how old the German prisoners looked. Of course, I'm 18 at the time.
Okay.
And most of us are just a bunch of wild Indians at 18. We were amazed at how old they were. So I said to one of the Germans, or I pointed to him to say, "Hey, let me take the pack that's on your back." He was obviously having troubles. So I took the backpack and carried it as we were marching them away, and that's what made him give me the cigarette case. Well, I just shoved it in my pocket, which was absolutely the stupidest thing to do, because if you're going to get caught the next day, you don't want to have some German equipment in your pocket. But that's a vivid incident that happened. We'd had a good firefight, and I don't remember anyone close to me who got shot.
And
incidents like, yeah.
Just one question. This incident with the German prisoners, was this still within a couple of miles from the coast, or was this like really far inland?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, not too far inland. No. So I just don't have any recollection of the distance. But as you recall, there was a hill coming off the coast, or a mountain, or half a mountain, or something, and we were fighting on the north side of the mountain, and so we were. All I can remember is getting the as I just told you, I grabbed the bag that was on his shoulders, because he obviously wasn't going to make it if he had to carry it, and he gave me a cigarette case that I still have. So incidents like that happened along the line. We went through Grosser, if that was the name of the place. We came to another field after we got north of Grosser. And it was pretty much, we were on a forced march, I would say. Of course, myself and the guys I knew, we didn't know what was going on. We were only doing what we were told to do. But now that I think about it, we were being pushed to get as far north as we could, and we were heading for the city of Crest, and we got to, well, there were little incidents where we met, when we ran into Germans, we have a little firefight, and they'd pull back and everything would stop, and we march on, and we kept going. Now, any specific incident that I can remember is once we were bivouacked in some field somewhere, the whole company, and a German spotter plane flew over, and sure enough, in come the artillery fire, and we're all running like crazy to find a place to hide away from the artillery shell explosions. And I think most of us made. Only one or two of the fellows got hurt. We picked ourselves all up and we got running north again. It was a forced march, pretty much. Now, the next thing that I remember, and I'm up to date, the 23rd. I got shot on the 24th. We were told bang a left and head for the Rhone River Valley. And if you've read the history of what goes on at that point, instead of going straight ahead north to Crest, we were to get to the Rhone River to cut the German retreat through Montélimar.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And so I remember we made a big left turn, went down to the wooded area right where we could look out over the Rhone River plains with just big fields. We dug in for the night. I unfortunately was in the wrong place that night. I was right near the lieutenant who was running the show for us, and a friend of mine that we were bunkmates. Minix was his name, M-I-N-I-X. That was his nickname anyway. He and I were appointed to be the leaders of the company down the road leading out into the Rhone Plains towards one of the several mountains before us and before the main road up from Marseille through Montélimar.
Okay.
I don't know whether you've seen the pictures of what happened around there. A lot of our forces got together and blew the daylights out of the retreating Germans at that point. But what Company L was doing, and Minix and I were out front. The lieutenant said, "Well, you guys go down and keep your eye open to see if you see any German trash along the road or see any Germans running around, and we'll be following you." So Minix and I went all the way down the road, a straight road, right to the foot of this, I don't call it a mountain, but it was a pretty high hill. And there was a farmhouse at the base of the hill. So we got to the farmhouse, and we sat down and waited for the company to come up. And when the lieutenant got there, he said, "Well, come on, let's get up to the top of this hill."
Okay.
As fast as we can. Now I know why he said that. I didn't know it at the time. But what we were trying to do at this point was get to the top of the hill so we'd be overlooking this road that the Germans were using to retreat north through Montélimar. halfway up the hill, Minix and I turned around, and there was a German patrol sneaking around in back of our company near that road where we just came across. So I yelled down to the lieutenant, there's a German patrol in back of you. And he said, you keep going, we'll take care of that. So we did. We got within, 15 feet of the top, I guess. And I found a German rifle on the ground.
Okay.
I went down to look at it. You with me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you,
Yeah. I went down to look at it, and I said to him, and they said, hey, there's a rifle here, German rifle here. And we're about even going up the hill, but he's maybe 25, 30 feet to my right. And he said, something like that, and next thing I know, he yells, a shot came out, and he says, I've been hit. So I jumped up to turn around to run over to him. Bang, I got hit in the face. I got shot in the face. I can remember falling down, and somebody up there threw a German grenade down, hit me in my back, and it exploded. That's why I can't hear out of my right ear. And that was the end. Now, that was the 24th of August. And this is more than 5 days, but the intermittent time between when I got shot and where we landed was a lot of, for us, not a steady battle, day long for 5 days. We did a lot of marching, obviously moving north. As I came to find out, that's what we were doing, obviously trying to get as far north as we could, as fast as we could. Now, I don't think there's anything very fantastic about that, but that's what Company L was doing after we landed.
Okay, okay. And I'm actually a medical student myself, and just by curiosity, where were you wounded in the face? Like by a bullet, you said, right?
Well, obviously, the German rifleman could see me from the hill, and we couldn't see anybody. And he was obviously shooting for my temple to kill me. And I must have turned when Minix hollered and said I'd been shot. And it was the best move I ever made in my life, because it came across in my face, ripped my nose off, ripped the eye, my right eye, and just made a mess of my face. I don't remember any. I don't know how I got rescued. What must have happened? I suppose the Germans, after they fired, realized that we were coming up, and they probably shot once and ran down the hill on the other side. Because I went unconscious then, and just don't remember a thing until I woke up 3 days later in a bloody mess.
And
I spent 2 years at Cushing General Hospital in Framingham, Massachusetts, while they put my face back together again. And people say they did a pretty good job. So that was my fast story going from Italy over to France.
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask you just a couple of more specific questions.
Okay.
One thing you mentioned that cigarette case. Is there anything written on it, like the German soldier's name or any decorations or anything like that?
Well, it's got the German. Let me get up and go over and look at it. Let's see. I've got my what do you call these things? You can walk around and talk. It's got the eagle sitting on a swastika. Is it a swastika? Let me look. Yeah, it's got the German Nazi swastika with a spread eagle on the top of it. Shiny, nice shiny thing. Let me see if there's anything inside. Well, so long I've looked at it. I've also got the same thing in the form of a ribbon, you know. I must have ripped it off somebody's shirt. Hold on, let me get this open. Don't go away.
Okay, okay.
Okay, no, there's nothing inside it. There's no name. No, nothing.
Okay, I was just curious about that. And
that's it.
And so this guy, he gave it to you. Could that have been on the day after the landing, for example, or a couple of days after the landing, just when you were still?
Yeah, no more. Yeah, no more than 2 days after the landing.
Okay.
When we had this firefight, I guess, and they surrendered to us. And as I say, we were marching back to the shoreline for people in back to take care of it.
So for you to walk back to the shoreline, you could just walk back within an hour or two. So it means you were still really near the coast.
I don't remember I completed the journey. We just did our job to get them to a certain point, and then somebody else picked them up and took over the transfer them to someplace along the shore, I guess, to send them to jail.
And could you see the sea from where you were? Could you actually see the ocean? I mean.
No, because there were hills.
Okay. But if you had been on the top of a hill, it would probably be visible, basically.
Oh yeah. Oh, I would think so.
Okay. Okay.
As I best remember it. What else have I got there? I got that same spread eagle sitting on a Nazi insignia. I must have taken that off the German uniform. No, I haven't got anything else.
And
no, that's all. That's all I've got of that.
And I was
Go ahead.
I looked at I have a casualty list of the unit, the 141st in those days, and I saw on the day of the landing nobody from L Company was killed, and the only time when there seemed to have been any casualties was on August 16th, so the next day after the landing. And I suspect that this is probably the firefight you're talking about that had these few guys killed.
Yeah, probably was. Yeah, that's vivid to me because of the fact of what I did, winding them up to, and this older in my head is, gee, these guys are old. They were probably in their 30s, or 40s or something, and that's why I remember that so much. But it had to be probably the second day. But I just don't know.
Okay, well that makes sense. That makes sense compared to what I found with these casualty lists and what's also written in the unit history. You know, it says on the second day, Al Company was in a firefight in some mountain just beside the coast. You know, so this is probably the same thing. And I have the names of the 3 guys who were killed. I'll just mention them just in case you might remember them. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one guy was called Thurman Edwards. One guy was called Willard Meek, and the last guy was called Thomas Sheehan. But I know companies are pretty big, and you know there's platoons and everything, and sometimes you don't know the guys. I was just wondering if you might remember that.
Well, yeah, you know, I was with them in Italy for quite a while, and I'm surprised that the names don't come back. But those 3 names don't come back to me. The only name I remember is good old Minix. He was, and I think that was a nickname. Came from California, and he was one of these fellows who, what do you call him? He would stand up and fight. If I get shot, I get shot. If I don't, well, that's all right too. So he was kind of like a company runner at one point. We didn't mind doing anything. The rest of us, tried to keep ourselves alive. But,
Okay.
he was a great guy. I just can't think of his real name.
And did he survive that wound, by the way?
I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of don't think he did, but I don't know because I got knocked out completely out. I was unconscious for 3 days.
Okay, and then you never heard of him afterwards, anymore, after the war or anything like that?
No, never have. So that's why I think he must have been, but I really don't know.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, what did you say?
I said it was just the two of us up near the top of the hill when that happened to him and to me. So where do you get all this information? I often thought if I could ever figure out how to use a computer, I'd try to get the day report for the 25th to find out what happened or who it happened to, but I never know how to get that stuff.
Well, the way I got it is it's all in the National Archives, There's all the...
Oh.
So I had to order it from a guy over there, and he sent me the copies. Here, I have your name right here. John Boyce, wounded in action on August 25th, it says. Severely wounded in action from Salesville. So I'm gonna read you the names of the other guys. You might remember you said he's from California, right? This other guy.
Yeah.
So was it maybe, here's the name, Minix Vernon. Vernon Minix from San Francisco, California.
That's who it was.
And here he's listed as severely wounded in action, so not killed.
Oh, he wasn't killed. Oh, Jesus.
But he might have died of wounds afterwards. I have another list with all the names of the guys who died as well. I'm going to check it out for you just in a second here.
Oh.
Just 1 minute. LMNOPQR. I have to find his name in the alphabetical order. Well, it looks like there's a page missing on M, so... Well, Murphy... Murison... Yeah, here's the M page. No, there's no Minix listed as having died, so that means he survived.
Yeah. And, gee, that's the best news I've heard in years.
Okay.
I always thought, because I don't know how, I'd like to say one more thing that, I've never been able to find the guys that got Minix and myself off that hill. I mean, geez, we're at the top of the hill bleeding like crazy, and I don't know whether the Germans just immediately pulled back down the west side of the hill and vacated the area. I don't know how they ever rescued us. I thanked them every morning and every night before I go to bed for getting me down there.
Well, it's probably some guys from your company, or maybe some guys from a neighboring company, and for them, you were probably just a casualty, and they brought you down without really paying attention to who you were and stuff. And
no, I don't. Yeah, that's a possibility, but I don't think so. It was Company L that was making this move up to the top of the hill. I don't remember another company to our left or to our right. We were just going as fast as we could across the plains, trying to get to the top of the hill, obviously where we then be able to watch and attack the Germans retreating up the main road. This is just north of montélimar.
Well, if you want to find out who it is, I guess you have to ask guys from L Company,
I guess so.
Are you should have 20 years ago?
There aren't many of them left. Went to a reunion last week, and I'll bet there went 20. 20. A lot of widows and grandchildren and children, but the actual veterans, I'll bet there went 20. Gee, I came away feeling bad about it. There were more. We list people. The vets that die between meetings, the annual meetings.
Yeah.
And there were more people listed dying in the past year than were still alive now.
Yeah, well,
So they're going fast. Yeah.
And
There's a new book out. And just one more thing. Let me.
you just slightly more detailed. Can you maybe tell me a bit more details about this firefight when you caught these prisoners? Like, does anything stand out in your memory?
No, it doesn't. All I knew, we were down on the back side of the hill from off the shore. The vivid points to me is, and when we landed, we went uphill quite a bit. We were told to get off the shore, and up the hill, down the other side. So now we can't see the water or anything. And we must have run into this company of Germans, I suppose, that forced us to stop and dig in. And we had ourselves a little firefight, and they gave up. I don't remember. I just can't think of any details.
Okay.
We were lining them up and walking them away when he gave me this cigarette case.
Okay, and when you tell me you were on the road to Cannes, do you literally mean you were walking on the road, or do you mean you were just in the direction of Cannes?
No, we were walking on the road.
So you mean the coastal road there, the road that's right beside the sea, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I know that the unit that was there of Germans, it actually had a bunch of Russian volunteers, you know, who were fighting with the Germans. Did you notice anything about that?
No, I didn't. They had a German uniform on, so no, I didn't. Wouldn't have even thought to try to figure that one out. No, I don't. But I do know from reading other stories that did happen. A lot of Russian men came into the German units, whether they did willingly or not, I don't know.